Hello guys, welcome to another one of my videos. This one is the WildStar beta footage that I did a few weeks ago. Now the NDA has been lifted, I can actually talk to you about my experience and what's been going on while I was playing. All in all, I'm finding WildStar pretty good. I think it's going to be one of those fantastic MMOs. You know, it's a little bit buggy, but you can expect that in the beta, but I think everything works really well. I was having to play around with a few classes, so this is literally all the footage I have of my Chow engineer. I can't remember what actual path I went down when I was playing this, but you'll find out in the video. Obviously you'll see in the background, and as soon as it comes up I'll mention it. What this video is about is pretty much where I plan to go in the future with my gameplay. Obviously I'm going to be sticking with Guild Wars 2. That's not going to go anywhere. I plan to carry that on indefinitely, especially with all the new updates that have been coming through. All in all, I just want a new game with a bit more of a PvE focus. I mainly play Guild Wars now for PvP and World v World, so the PvE aspect of it hasn't really kept me going. I like the living story, but again, I can do that in a couple of days with my current guildies, so my plan is to just find something else to tide me over, and I think WildStar is where I want to go. I used to play World of Warcraft. That was where my original raiding history came about. I actually did pretty well in that. My guild wasn't a hardcore raiding guild. I mean, we didn't actually start most patches till the Monday after it was released, so we did a Sunday night Monday raid and we only did 4 hours, but we were getting in the top 10 of our server at some point, so we were, although we weren't raiding a lot, we were pretty efficient. So that leads me on pretty much to where I want to go with my channel. I would like to do WildStar raiding pretty heavily. So if you know of anyone that's going to be interested, or if yourself you're interested in doing some pretty heavy raiding in WildStar itself, I would be very interested in having you contact me. All in all, it's up to you if you do or not. I'm going to be playing the game in the Head Start weekend and already have plans to do a rush to level cap with one character, because I want to get raiding dungeons, get guides up for you guys as quick as possible. So anyone that would like to assist in that, or you know, have me help them out as well, it doesn't all have to be about my channel. I can help out with your channel. If you'd like to do that, feel free to send me a message. Overall, this is, as I say, this is my WildStar beta footage. You can see that I'm sort of roughly know what I'm doing. I went into this blind because I wanted to be as excited as possible. I signed up for the beta and then didn't read anything about it. My plan is to use these, because of my pre-order, use these next few days, or few beta weekends even, sorry, to get as much experience as I can of my class to be able to level up as fast as possible. Not many of you, well, obviously if you're watching this video, a lot of you would have played WildStar before, but if you haven't, it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, get yourself signed up to the beta events, and you know, it's a good game, and I think if they've got the balance right and the raiding and everything right, this definitely could be the new place I go for my PvE style events. The PvP, I think I will be sticking to Guild Wars at the moment. I didn't actually get involved in the PvE, so in the PvP, sorry. So I'm not really sure whether I'd be changing that in my game. All in all, Guild Wars is still going to be the main focus of my channel, but hopefully it'll be mixed in with a bit of WildStar, because there's nothing worse than having a stagnant channel where you've only played one game. So yeah, this is pretty much the future plan for my channel. I will be doing my standard Guild Wars build videos. As soon as the April 15th patch hits, I'll be doing as much footage for that as I possibly can. Get all my builds back out for you guys, get you guys upper variant, and I would like to do the same with with WildStar. All in all, I want to give you guys some pretty decent guides for a new game as soon as possible. That being said, if there's anything that you guys as a whole want to see on my channel, or games that you'd like me to review or whatever, I'm quite happy to do that. I'll happily go out and get a few games. I do have a list that I'm working through at the moment of requests from a couple of people, like Brothers, the Brothers game, Tale of Two Sons, and I'm gonna give Surgeon Simulator a go as well. Apparently that's quite fun. And also I have Goat Simulator ready and wearing. It's actually my brother's game, but I'm going to be stealing it off him. This is probably the first he'll hear about it as well, but younger brothers, you got to bully him, right? Overall, this is the format for my channel is going to be mainly guides. I will hopefully do some discussions, and like I said, if I can get a guild going, maybe with a couple of other YouTubers that decided that they want to do it. You don't have to be big to get involved. I mean, I'm not expecting like the big boys to join in and play WildStar with me. But if you, like me, are just starting up, I'm more than willing to play with you as much as anyone else. I mean, at the end of the day, the smaller channels is where I am at the moment. I mean, I'm ecstatic that I've even got 22 subscribers, to be fair. All you guys that have subscribed to me, thanks a bunch. I mean, it's a small channel. I know started it a month ago, and I never actually intended it to get even this far, to be honest. It was just a channel started for my guild, so I could share my builds with them, because I couldn't play a lot of the time that they were playing, and they wanted some advice for the engineer, and I felt that I was sort of letting them down by not sharing my builds, because I've played engineering in Guild Wars for a long time. So all in all, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm up to 2,000 views on my videos overall, so I'm actually ecstatic by that. I mean, that's all you. That's nothing to do with me. I just put the videos up for you guys, and you guys have shown me shown me a lot of support. So I'm very pleased. So thank you all for watching my videos, and please continue in the future. If you've got any criticisms as well, please don't hesitate to say, let me know if there's anything that I can do to improve my channel, or anything you'd like to see me do, because at the end of the day, these videos are for me. I'm putting them up for fun. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for anything else but to help you guys out. So if there's anything you want me to do, I'm more than willing to put in the time. At the end of the day, I'm enjoying making my videos, and the support you guys have given me has been fantastic. So let me tell you a little bit about WildStar. WildStar is a sort of sci-fi fantasy MMO. It's a little bit more fast-paced than your standard point-and-click MMO stand there in DPS, and it's one of the reasons that drew me in. After going from World of Warcraft to Guild Wars 2, I can't stand now standing and DPSing. I think a lot of you will probably be the same. You end up just sat around not doing anything for ages. I always almost feel like I might as well have just been in some raid situations, just have turned up, set my gamepad, made the macro, and it's the same rotation over and over again, no reaction. Didn't feel that there was a lot of skill involved. It became very monotonous for me. So action MMOs are definitely the way forward now. I personally think this one could be the balance that I'm looking for. The other thing, it doesn't seem that it's going to be that difficult as an MMO, but obviously I've only played the first few levels. I mean, I've only got about 40 minutes of footage for you guys to see the engineer. I'll also be putting up my spell slinger for the exiles, but yeah, it's worth playing. Obviously there's not a lot of combat being involved so far. You got your dodge button, which is one of the things that I love. When I went back to playing WoW, actually, I found it really annoying, and I didn't realise how reliant I was on that dodge button for avoiding AoE, so I stood in a lot of AoE when I went back and found it just too slow to move around, to be honest. But WildStar itself is fantastic. I think the combat's really good. The fact that you've got a skill bar so you can only use a certain number of skills as well, I think that's going to be, it's going to make builds feel a bit more diverse rather than the standard cookie cutter builds that I've been seeing in WoW. Guild Wars 2 still has a certain amount of cookie cutter specs that people play, and obviously there is the Zerk meta, so I'm hoping that WildStar's managed to balance the game in such a way that if you invest in something, it will make it viable whether or not it's the meta, if that makes sense. I don't really want to be stuck in the same class, doing the same rotations, doing the same thing for every boss all the way through. I want to be able to vary my builds, vary my gameplay, and switch as I go through the game. The other thing that I'm actually looking forward to, which is going to sound a little bit girly, I'm quite looking forward to building my house. The home instance of WildStar makes me think that I should be building something in every game now. I feel that this is a feature that in an MMO is quite valuable, because when you're playing in games, having a home area that you can enjoy and get on with, I think is actually very beneficial for you, because I mean, you can customize your character all day every day, but at the end of the day you're still going to be in the same zones as everyone else, and the same zone as the next guy. So having zones that you can customize, in my eyes, is just a really good idea. The fact that it helps you as well, so it's not just purely cosmetic, means that if you really want to get into raiding, there's a lot of stuff that you can do to assist you, rather than what it was. I mean, in WoW, the crafting system, once you'd got, if you were playing for the server first guilds, yeah, you'd be up there leveling your crafting up, maxing it out, getting everything, getting all the best gear, but then after about one raid you'd replace it all. Sometimes obviously it'd take you weeks to replace it because of the RNG drops, but overall it seemed just a waste of time. I'm hoping that they don't do this because of the customization and the way everything can be tweaked and changed. I'm hoping that crafting will give you a viable option as a new way of doing things. The other thing as well is, compared to Guild Wars 2's crafting system, I hope it doesn't go the complete opposite way, which means that World of Warcraft system was really valuable for the first bit. Guild Wars 2 system wasn't valuable at all until they brought out Ascended Gear, and then I actually found out after a while that it was easy to just farm a dungeon to get the best gear, and we were back in the World of Warcraft situation where for a little bit it's viable, but once you've got it, there's no use for it, and sometimes it can last you a month and other times it could last you a couple of days, and it wasn't worth the effort. So I'm hoping that they change that in this. I've been stood at that point for a very long time. I have no idea what I was doing there. I think I was trying to plan out what I was going to do next and just having a look at a guide, in fact. The other thing that I'm looking forward to as well in WildStar are war plots. I'd quite like to investigate the PvP side of the game, just see if it's any good. I mean, PvP's never really been my big thing until I got into Guild Wars, so I never went back and played WoW as a PvP level. So hopefully now I'll be more interested. I mean, the only time I ever played PvP in WoW was when I found out that there was a I win button with my Huntard. It just made Arena hilarious. There was no skill involved, and I felt that Arena was always unbalanced. Guild Wars 2, on the other hand, because it was a separate area, I felt that it was a little bit more interesting. So there's multiple PvP sections in WildStar that I've been looking at. You got the dueling aspect, which dueling's never been a thing that I've been interested in. I mean, I don't like one-on-one fights. I prefer being in big team fights. So war plots would be really interesting for me, because I've been getting into World v World as well in Guild Wars 2. Obviously, I keep referencing World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2, but they're the two MMOs that I feel that they're the best way of sort of describing WildStar, because it's got the very much the WoW aspect of it's going to be very much concentrated on the raids. It's got a PvP aspect, but I don't think it's going to be the main part of it. But it's got the action side of Guild Wars 2. So if it hits that perfect middle ground for me, it's going to be a place that I'll stick around for. So the war plots in reference to the World v World are going to be very similar. You build up a big base this time though, and it's going to be lots of interesting fights and interesting ways to tweak and play. So I think that's going to be a very PvP orientated guild side things, but the guild that I would personally like to be part of or create would be a PvE one, mainly for the raiding aspect. The other part of the PvP is there are smaller battles, there is arena, there is lots of things that will be in the game that I think I would have to investigate before I can give you any real speculation on whether it's going to be good or bad. It's nice to see that they've put a lot of variety into this game as well, with the various races. I think it looks really good as well. I mean, there's a lot of people find the graphics a little bit weird, but I think the cartoony sort of almost Borderlands style, I would say, it's quite nice. I don't personally like games that look too realistic. I've never been a fan for one where it's gone, oh, these graphics are fantastic, because I feel that the screen gets too cluttered. That being said, the UI that I was playing around with, it needs some tweaking. You can see on the screen, I feel that there's just that little bit too much on the screen. I don't think everything's in the right place yet, but then it's got customization, so that's something that I'll have to play around with as well and get back to you guys on whether it's worth taking up. This video is getting rather long. I've got a lot to talk about actually, just because this is a WildStar beta footage video. Obviously it's for you guys to see what I was doing while I was in the beta. By the looks of this at the moment, I was just stuck around, stood there for a long time not doing anything. So obviously I'm the world's laziest beta player. Just to point out that this video is obviously the first time that I'd played in as the engineer class and as the Dominion. Quite liked it. It wasn't the best in the world, but I obviously had to give it a go. The plan is that in the next beta footage I will try and get you some more aspects of the game to show you different parts. The plan is to get to dungeon level so I can play around with some of the new dungeons that are available, show you guys whether it's actually worth doing, whether it's going to be fun, enjoyable, whether they're difficult, easy from my point of view. Some of you will probably disagree, some of you will say, oh, it's too hard, others might say it's a lot easier than I've made it look, but at the end of the day, it's how I perceive it. I wouldn't consider myself the best gamer in the world, but I would say that I'm above average in terms of gaming. I mean, I can pick up a game quite happily, play through, and get to grips with it. And once I'm very up to learning how to make myself do the best. I always have the theory in MMOs that it doesn't matter how much DPS or healing or threat generation you can put out, if you can't do the basics like not standing in the AoE, not dodging, not positioning yourself right, it doesn't matter how good you are at those at the other parts of the game, if you're dead, you're dead. You don't help anyone. I mean, I could go into, like I said, I could go into a World of Warcraft raid and, you know, blitz out the highest DPS that anyone's seen in the first 30 seconds and then die. My DPS would be up there, but at the end of the day, I'm not contributing to the fight. I've managed to get high on the DPS meters and then bombed out, so my total damage is actually lower because I've just sucked at something really basic. So WildStar is a very skill-based game. I think that's what they're concentrating on, rather than the idea that you have to build yourself a certain way to play the game. I've seen that there's lots of speculation about whether it's actually going to work or not. But I personally think that's the best way of playing the game, to give you the option. If you want to do a standard stand and tank situation and not have to avoid the telegraphs, you can build your character that way. But that's not the best way of playing the game. The best way of playing the game is being in somewhere in the middle, where if you do get caught by something, you're not going to die, but you want to move around as much as you can as well. So getting that balance, I think, is going to be a really interesting part of the game. Obviously, I've played Guild Wars where there's no Trinity, and this one's going back to a pretty standard Trinity, tank, healer, DPS. In that situation, I'm very much of a tank character / range DPS. I've never really been one for the melee DPS. I find it really boring, but melee tanks I find really interesting, and I always enjoyed playing range DPS. I did for a while raid quite high level as a healer, but again, I found that I didn't find that the most enjoyable thing. I can do it, I can be part of it, and I can see how much skill it requires to do all aspects of the game, and that's what I like. I like to be able to say to someone, oh, I want you to heal, and, you know, oh, you can do better than that, or whatever, or, you know, be able to constructively criticize, because I know from personal experience that some gamers get really, really angry, saying, oh, you're shit, you're terrible, you don't know what you're doing. You get angry, have a go at other players for learning the game. I'm really, really up for learning games with people, and that's the point of an MMO, I think, is to enjoy and play the game through. I really don't like the elitists that think you should come in and know everything about a game to start with, because especially with games like Guild Wars and WildStar, where there aren't those cookie cutters, there are like certain tweaks you can do and you can still be effective, and you can feel your way through a game rather than this is what you should do, these are the buttons you should press. Because in my eyes, games like that, if you've got that set up, it's no longer a challenge. You might as well be playing a piece of music. In my eyes, it's the equivalent of the difference between WildStar and something like World of Warcraft with their cookie cutters is the difference between writing a piece of music and just copying someone else's. I think that with a cookie cutter spec, you're being told what to play, when to press the buttons, how to do it. You might as well just be copying off someone else. You might as well be watching someone else play through. But with WildStar and Guild Wars 2, I feel that there's a lot more of a natural flow, and you can put your own tweak on things and your own twists on how you can make stuff work together. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to actually experimenting with some people as well, because I loved, when I first went into Guild Wars, the combinations you could do of other classes, and when I went into WildStar, unfortunately I wasn't playing with anyone else. It was just literally, I found out I was getting into the beta a couple of hours before and didn't have a chance to find out if any of my friends had got it. Turns out none of them had anyway, so I was thrown at the deep end. All in all, I think the overall look of WildStar is going to be really, really nice. I would very much like to get into it, as I said, see how we go, see what there is to get involved with. I mean, there's lots of silly little things. Personally, I like the idea of every time I level up being called Cupcake. I don't know why. I think it just gives you that personal touch, you know. Dinging in WoW although it's an old game now, it always just felt like a rush to me. I didn't feel like I was enjoying the levels. I was always just doing it to get to the end. First time I played through the game, had no idea what was going on. Didn't really enjoy it, and then the next times it was just grind and grind and grind and grind, and then got up to the raiding level, and I was never really one for the lore, never really cared about what was going on. I just wanted to go in, this is the boss, I shoot him in the face until he dies, and we do that together, make sure we do the tactics and we'll be fine. I didn't really care that there was a whole story behind it. I mean, I knew the story, but it wasn't really captivating enough. This, I quite like that it doesn't say, although it seems that there is a lot of story, it seems that you can choose as well through the path system how much into it you go. I mean, that you got the, as you see pop up on my screen, you got like comic books and stuff coming in, and the scientists as well. They get to scan through and find more information about the world, and then you've got the settlers path, which is all about building up towns and being assisting people in getting what they want to get as well. So I think that's going to be the sort of style I'd like to play, be more of an assistant settler style player. They've obviously got the soldier for the people that just like to go around shooting everything and blowing them up, and explorers who just like to go around and have a look at things, sort of the somewhere between the scientists and and just the standard player at the end of the day. I'm looking forward to this one. Hopefully the footage in the background will show you sort of how nice it is. It flows very well as a game. I didn't ever feel that I was lost. I just felt that, you know, although I was rushing through the quests and whatever and just ignoring most of the text, I felt that it had a nice feel to the game, and that's what's important for me. A good feel to the game is always more important than, oh, this is going to be fantastic. The only criticism I have so far with the game is the sub fee. I don't personally like paying sub fees. I played World of Warcraft, obviously, so you know I do pay sub fees, and I'm willing to do it, but I really hope that that sub fee looks like it's going somewhere. I always felt that World of Warcraft was a bit of a, towards the end, towards the end it felt like they were money going, but I think that's because I've been spoilt with Guild Wars now, where everything that I've got with that game has been pretty much from what I bought with the original game. So I bought the game and now I'm getting patch after patch after patch, new features, and if WildStar doesn't deliver a similar level, doesn't match up to that level of a game that doesn't charge you a subscription fee with a subscription fee, I feel that it could end up being left behind, and people just stop paying the sub fee, and eventually it will go free to play, and then it could potentially lose what was good about it, because if it wasn't producing enough with a sub fee, I don't think it will without one. I don't think it's suddenly going to go, oh well, let's step up our game, and I think they'll just go, oh well, we'll just leave it as it is and carry on the way we were coming on. If they do the sub fee and then they keep adding free expansions, so somewhere between World of Warcraft and Guild Wars, where they're putting a lot of content in, but because you've paid the sub fee that you just get that free content anyway, because it's technically not free anyway, you're just paying it month by month basis. That would be a really good way of doing it, but again, it depends on their business model. I also like the fact that you can get other people to buy you sub time in game. So, I mean, those good gold sellers, gold farmers, or whatever, they'll be able to buy their game time without actually having to spend a single penny. That's the style I'm intending to go for. Potentially getting down the non-pay to play route. So I play to play is where I'm aiming for with this one. It's not really much more to say on WildStar. WildStar's got a lot of dev stuff on it. I mean, if I was you, I would check it out. I think, to be honest, I've spoken about the subject far too long anyway. You guys are probably fed up by this. But overall, just wanted to say thank you guys for looking at my channel, giving it a decent chance. I mean, everyone that subscribed, thank you very much. The guys who've just watched a couple of videos as well, thank you so much. It's all been appreciated, and hopefully I can keep up the quality that I have so far, at least, if not make my videos better for you guys, because at the end of the day, just because I'm uploading a video doesn't mean you have to watch them, and if I can make it good enough for you guys to carry on watching, then I will. And if you guys want me to carry on making videos, I'm more than happy to do it, because at the end of the day, us producers, the guys who produce the videos, we're only as good as our fans are, or our subscribers. In fact, I wouldn't say your fans yet. I mean, hopefully some of you like my videos enough to consider yourself a fan, but I think that'd be a bit big-headed. But at the end of the day, we're making this stuff for you as well as ourselves, so thank you very much. Like I said, if you need anything or want anything, want me to try anything, let me know in the comment section. I will be trying to get as much beta footage up as I possibly can. It'll be quite raw footage, and I'll have to do it as a stream format, unfortunately, so you will have to put up with my annoying voice for 90% of the video, and I'll just be describing as I go through the game. All in all, it's been a pleasure to make videos for you guys, so please keep up the good work, and if you want to, you can carry on subscribing to my channel. It doesn't cost you anything, doesn't cost me anything to make the videos, so at the end of the day, it's just my time, and it's stuff that I'll be doing anyway. So thank you very much for coming to my channel and watching this terrible rant about WildStar and where I'm going for. If you'd be interested in joining the guild with me, or having some online playtime for the WildStar, let me know, and I can potentially add you to my friends list, and we can go through together. So thank you very much, guys. I will catch you later.
Mission unlocked.
Kill them all!
Hope you're ready for swift action.
The enemy! More enemies are on their way. Do not allow them to harm your targets. Defenseless citizens. Show no fear. Our citizens must be protected from these treacherous foes.
A powerful victory you have earned this day.
You have the gratitude of the gods.
Have you made progress? Very little happens in the Dominion without my knowledge. What have you learned? Consider this your follow-up.
Now Get out there and do some damage.
Time for killing. Most wonderful time of the day.
Landing craft BZ-3, you have been cleared for departure. You are